Hey guys, Time Itself here. In this video, I want to talk about one of the lesser used pieces of tactical equipment, the sensor grenade. It's intended as a replacement for the motion sensor or portable radar from Black Ops 1 and Modern Warfare 3. And in general, they didn't like how those became very defensive, very campy tools, and they wanted to make something that was more for rushers, more for an offensive purpose. And so we get the sensor grenade. You're going to see me throwing them around here, you get an idea for what they do. I honestly didn't feel like the motion sensor in Black Ops 1 was much of a problem, but the portable radar in Modern Warfare 3 was a little ridiculous, and that just comes down to the differences between them. For example, in Modern Warfare 3, everyone on your team could see what the portable radar scanned. Portable radar also had a larger range. However, in Black Ops 1, the motion sensor was countered by Hacker and not Ghost, which Assassin countered both the normal radar and the portable radar in Modern Warfare 3. So if you put Assassin on, you knew you weren't showing up on those, where in Black Ops 1, it was hit or miss. But in the end, the result was that you could largely get away without using a UAV in Modern Warfare 3 because your team could just cover the map in portable radars. That was mostly the problem. Whereas in Black Ops 1, your motion sensor kind of tied you down to a spot, and it really did encourage you to camp, but at least it was effective at what it was intended to do in scanning a small area. Now, this isn't the series' first iteration of throw a piece of equipment forward and it'll tell you where the enemies are. Now, we've had stuff like this before. In Black Ops 1, TacMask Pro would give you the direction of an enemy from the location where your tactical grenade landed. But you didn't know if there were multiple enemies, and it was hard to guess where exactly your tactical grenade landed. Didn't turn out to be very useful. Interesting idea, didn't really work out. Then in Modern Warfare 3, we had recon, where explosive damage and with pro bullet damage would give you their location on the minimap. Used intelligently with things like flash grenades with very large radius, it could be fairly devastating, and it's one of the reasons I'm going to say that Scavenger did not resupply tactical grenades, because it would just be absolutely insane with recon. You just keep throwing flashbangs and you would almost always know where the enemies were. So they had to tone down some other stuff in order to make recon work. It was potentially very, very overpowered because it showed everything to your teammates, not just you. When you add in the fact that an advanced UAV or 3 regular UAVs will show the direction they're facing, and recon will make it constantly update, you've effectively got the VSAT from Black Ops 2, except they've never gotten the warning that, hey, the enemies know exactly where you are and where you're facing. So, yeah, a little bit overpowered. Alright, now that we've got some kind of background, refresher material out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about sensor grenades. In case you haven't used them, in fact, which would be fine. I don't really recommend them. We'll get into why. You see me use them here in this gameplay. You just throw it forward, it kind of sends out some lasers, scans an area within line of sight of where it lands, and it tells you where the enemies are, provided they don't have cold-blooded VSAT style. Use position and direction, but it doesn't update constantly, much like the VSAT would. And, okay, so the idea is you'll throw it in front of you, it'll tell you if there are any people in the room, let you know where you need to look if there are people, and hopefully give you a heads up in a gunfight, and give you the advantage when you're trying to rush. And it kinda works, but not really. The first problem you're going to run into when you throw one of these things is you've probably given away some element of your position. They're kind of large, a bit easier than a lot of other things to see flying through the air. They make noise when they bounce around, then they beep some more once they're on the ground scanning, they send out the lasers. The enemies are likely to spot them and have some idea where you are, where you're coming from. So when you're trying to be sneaky, these things aren't always the most useful.
UAV on standby.
It's fairly easy to spot the sensor grenade from further away than it can scan you, so you kind of want to limit where you use them to the smaller areas where that won't be an issue. And I'm kind of pushing it here with this courtyard. I'm barely scanning people who are running left. Oh my. It gets in a tight situation. Again, they don't scan through walls either, so if it lands on a corner behind a piece of cover, suddenly it's of no use to you and the enemies are hearing it beep. Now, you saw that flash right there, that when they explode at the end, they do a bit of damage, and it will mark enemies VSAT style for a couple seconds. However, the real downside there is that they also damage the user. It's just by virtue of how you use that sensor grenade offensively. You throw it in the room in front of you, it tells you where the guys are, you rush in, kill them, and get hit by your own sensor grenade halfway through a gunfight. And you'd think I'd learn. But, well, there's one nice place in the room for a sensor grenade and me to stand, apparently, and they're close enough together that It's a pain. Anyway, let's talk about some other situations when sensor grenades aren't useful. You got a VSAT up, you're going to see me put up VSATs here and then still keep throwing sensor grenades trying to finish challenges. And, well, they're not doing anything for me, but whatever. If you're counter UAV, sensor grenades won't do anything for you. Again, if they land behind cover, just bad luck, or, they won't do anything for you. Now, there is one more situation, and that's in hardcore. I don't concern myself with hardcore so much, but I figured I'd consider this. And the thing is, you don't get the radar without a UAV up in hardcore, and people love to shoot down UAVs in hardcore, so the sensor grenade is essentially useless in hardcore too. So, oh goody. Yeah, so I just thought I'd mention that. So I'm going to say that the sensor grenades are the least useful piece of tactical equipment. Yes, they do their thing, they serve a purpose, they can be useful, but in general you're better off with just about any other thing. They let the enemy know where you are, and you still get hit indicators on other things. So I just go with a flash or a concussion usually. They don't have all the limitations that these sensor grenades do relating to your radar. Now, they have already improved them once in a balancing patch. Fairly simple variables they changed, but they could continue in this direction. They improved the range, they made them last longer, and I think they made them scan faster. It's fairly straightforward stuff, and they could just continue to tweak those variables as they see fit. But I think we're going to need some more functional changes to really make them a viable choice over some of the other tactical options. And the first one and the big one that everyone's going to say is show your teammates what the sensor grenade sees. That's a fairly big change. It makes it much more like recon from Modern Warfare 3, and the reason why we couldn't resupply tacticals in Modern Warfare 3, I am convinced, it is because they didn't want the recon spam. So if maybe we could try it for a week or so, let's see what happens. And give us a special playlist of experimental stuff, and we'll see what happens. But I have a feeling the sensor grenade will become very, very used as well as cold-blooded to stay away from the things. It's interesting, worth a try, but I'm not quite sure how it would fit into the whole we want to keep this from being, well, I'm not even going to go there. Interesting, but very significant change. Well, it's possible. But here are a couple other suggestions. Show us the scan pulse on the radar so we can tell how recent our information is and how accurate it's going to be. You don't know if that scan was last a tenth of a second ago or a whole second ago. It makes a big difference as to what you do, and right now there's no indication as to when that happened. Another suggestion, make them stick to surfaces, kind of like sticky grenades, so you don't have this whole bouncing around thing making noise. The noise is another issue. You could take out the beeping noise, that would be an option, but make them stick to stuff so that you're less likely to get stuck behind cover. And if they stick, why not give us that wrist launcher thing from the campaign so you can kind of target where your sensor grenade is going to go. Just ideas to make them a little bit easier to use, a little bit more reliable, and give you better information without necessarily giving you more. I think that would be some good ways to make them better for the user, while not necessarily making them so much more powerful. Alright, my last suggestion is a little bit out there, it's kind of weird, but I think it'd work, I think it'd be interesting, and that is, instead of marking them on the radar, VSAT style, mark them millimeter scanner style. Through walls, deal with this whole line of sight issue, make the area small, but well, I guess at that point you kind of made the millimeter scanner redundant, but I almost never see it because it's such a late unlock, and there are other stuff that's already redundant, like the EMP stuff. I think it would be interesting, different, and it would be really good against campers and not so great against rushers, which is kind of this weird area where the scanner sensor grenades don't really fit because you're not sure where the guy is who's maybe running around, he may be camping. I don't know. I think that would be really cool. I don't know how they do the screen. You already got a HUD, whatever. I want to see them try that. I think it'd be really cool. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's see what the comments say about what you would like to see them do with these sensor grenades to make them a bit more useful.